a maternal figure who was not her mother. Elizabeth seemed indeed to be the perfect person for Mary to visit. She was married to an older priest named Zechariah, and together they were the New Testament version of Abraham and Sarah. Luke tells us that after years of hoping to have children, Elizabeth and Zechariah had resigned themselves to the fact that children were not going to be a part of their lives. Many couples who have not been able to have children in those days would treat their nieces and nephews as if they were their own. Perhaps this is why Mary felt drawn to Elizabeth, and maybe Elizabeth had been like a mother to Mary in days past. Imagine Mary's feelings as she heard Elizabeth's word. It had been at least 10 days since Gabriel had appeared to Mary with this confusing announcement. She had spent the last 9 days traveling with her secret, uncertain, afraid, and wondering how any of this could be true. But then before she could even tell Elizabeth what had happened, Elizabeth showed that she already knew her secret, and Elizabeth was filled with joy on Mary's behalf. Elizabeth went on to say, "Listen, child, you don't have to be afraid." In essence, she was saying, you have been blessed. Don't you see it? You've been chosen to be the mother of the Messiah. Such good things will come of this. You are blessed, and the child within your womb is also blessed. Elizabeth told Mary that she was blessed, and once in these same verses, she described the child as blessed. At last, with the prophetic words of Elizabeth, Mary's fear gave way to joy. She opened her mouth and began to praise God. Up to this point, we have not heard any joy from her, only submission to God's will. But now she felt joy that she was going to have a child, and more than that her child would be the Messiah. In Luke chapter 1, we find that Mary breaks into song. She says, "My soul magnifies the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God and His favor upon me." Mary needed someone who could help her gain perspective on what she was facing, someone who would listen to her and believe in her, someone who would encourage her. She found all of that and more in her kinswoman Elizabeth.
"My child, are you afraid?"
"Yes, a husband has been promised to me, but the law says I must remain pure for a year. What is he going to think of this?"
"Stay with us and we will pray for guidance."
"Why would God choose me? I'm nothing."
"Child, you are blessed among women, and your child is blessed. Mary, don't you see? You are truly blessed."
In this short passage from Luke chapter 1, Elizabeth uses the word blessed 3 times to describe Mary and her child that she would soon have. Elizabeth's insistence on driving home that point helped Mary see that what William Barclay called the paradox of blessedness. Sometimes we think God's blessing involves gaining money, power, and prestige. Blessedness is often associated with a life of comfort and ease. When we describe our blessings, we often include our homes, our jobs, our cars, our health, and our wealth. But Mary's blessedness wasn't material. It wasn't born of security or even physical well-being. Mary's blessedness instead came from being a part of God's plan, to be used by God for God's kingdom. Her blessedness was in the fact that she was chosen by God to bear the Messiah. The blessedness was not to be confused with ease or comfort or well-being that came from possessions. To the contrary, Mary would face the whispers of those who she knew that she had conceived out of wedlock. She still faced the task of telling Joseph she was with child. She would face the difficulties that came from being the mother of Jesus, fleeing to Egypt when Herod sought to kill the child, watching as others sought to destroy him when he began his ministry, and finally standing by his side as he was crucified. That was what blessedness looked like for Mary. The piercing truth, Barclay said in his wonderful commentary of the book of Luke, he says these words, is that God does not choose a person for ease and comfort and selfish joy, but for a task that will take all head and heart and hand that can bring to it. Abraham in the Old Testament is a great example of this when God told him, I want you to leave behind everything you've known in the Mesopotamian River Valley and go to a land you've never seen before. You're blessed, by the way. Now go and be a blessing to all the nations of the earth. Look at the people Jesus called blessed from his Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven.
Jesus was saying, you and I are blessed, but maybe we can't see it yet.